All right. Home Squad Sports, Week 9 college football season. Hope everyone's had a good day and a good week and ready, excited. I've been talking basketball the past 2 days. Very excited to get back into football because it's definitely far from over, and we'll go ahead and get into it. Now, we do have some games going on tonight. One that's about to start right now, Old Dominion and Georgia Southern, and then Syracuse and Pitt at 7:30. Pitt still trying to be undefeated. We'll see if they can keep on doing it. Coach Narduzzi is, in the running for Coach of the Year right now. I don't see how he's going to beat Kurt Signetti, but if he stays unbeaten, he maybe get it and might be able to steal it. Kyle McCord, quarterback for Syracuse, see if he can get the big win tonight against the undefeated team. So we'll go ahead and get into it. If you see the bottom of your screen, already got our Week 9 ready to go. So let's get into it. All right, we got a great slate here. It was hard to pick six, just like it is pretty much every week. But I'm really happy with the staggering of the times. We're not really having any games on top of each other. Pretty much be able to watch every single one of these games. You only got the one of the games that's going to start staggering, but it'll be all right. I mean, you only got to watch pretty much, I don't know, I'd say half of the LSU and Texas A&M game if LSU doesn't show up. So I think they should show up and actually have a very good game. They've improved a lot this year. So is Texas A&M, and I think that's going to be a very good sleeper game. So noon, just kick it off. You got undefeated Navy and Notre Dame. Can Navy stay undefeated, man? We'll go ahead and go over them in just a second, but I've cannot believe what I've seen from Navy and Army. I don't think anyone has, because obviously they're not using NIL, they're not getting any transfers, and they're not buying their players. It's old-fashioned recruiting, and these are going to be people that's going to be serving our country in the future. So that's an adding on to it right there. So Notre Dame, can they get it done? Everyone's taking Navy right now. I think to at least cover, or if not upset. I like them covering. I don't know about them upsetting, unfortunately. I hope they do, because I'm not like a Notre Dame fan or anything, and they've already lost to NIU, and I don't think they're going to be in the hunt. Even if they win this game, they're not going to be in the hunt for the championship. So we'll see there. They don't have a conference, so that's hard to really tell. I think they should, with playoffs starting, they should be automatically, like, they should be forced into a conference. I don't see why they're not in the ACC or the Big Ten or somewhere, because still being an independent in 2024 is just wild, seeing that. So we'll see if they can keep Navy and, at bay and really give them their first loss. So a couple undefeated teams that are still kicking, man, quite a few, a lot more than I thought that would be this time of the season. So the next game we'll go ahead and preview is Texas and Vanderbilt. A lot of people love the underdog on this one too, especially off Texas coming off a bad game last week. Quentin Ewers looking shaky. Don't think he's going to get into the Heisman consideration now, especially off that game. He maybe could have done it last week, but I think that ship's done sailed, and he's just maybe trying to get a natty, which is more important anyway, But that Heisman that everyone maybe thought he would compete for, I think that's long gone. But, we got Pavia, the quarterback of Vandy, who went viral for his win against Bama. So, man, it's going to be a hell of a game. I think Vandy will also cover. I think they might win this game. I think this might be the biggest upset of the week. Honestly, I don't know. We won't have our picks until Saturday morning. We're just going to go over these games. This is usually our shortest stream of the week, so shout out everyone that's kind of tuning in on Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Rumble's been picking up this past week, and very excited about that. So everyone that's tuning in, just pretty much, really excited, and we'll give you these 6 games, and we'll go over the couple games that we've had this week so far. So Vandy and Texas, like I said, it's going to be a hell of a matchup. I think Texas is going to have to run the ball to win. It's pretty cliche there. It's pretty much the formula to win in all football. So you have to run the ball. I don't know if they're going to show up. We don't know what Texas team's going to show up, unfortunately. And same thing with Alabama and a few other teams right now. I think that they're going to have to just be smarter, man, and be less cocky. Steve Sarkisian, the head coach of Texas, just didn't have a good showing last week. They were cocky, I think, and they were doing way too much pregame media. I saw Sarkisian on like 3 or 4 interviews before the game, leading up to the game, and you never really want to see that. Looking back, hindsight's always 20/20, but you never want to really see that. Your coach doing a lot of these extra interviews. They have the obligation interviews they got to do with the local media and with the SEC and stuff. But when you're on the Pat McAfee show a couple of days before the game and giving out shirts to the crew, that's cool if you win. But when you lose, it's not a good look, man. So we'll see if they can get it done. First year in the SEC, so I think they're learning the hard way and what it takes to be an SEC contender. So we'll move on from that game, and we did mention LSU and Texas A&M, which I think is going to be just as good of a game. These first 3 games are just neck and neck, man. Every single game on here is going to be a hell of a game. Like, I don't know. I'm glad we don't have to do our picks today. I'm glad we don't have to do that till Saturday morning. Dalton's out of town, can't join us here, unfortunately. But I think we'll get him to send us the picks in, and we'll be able to make a graphic for it or whatever. So safe travels to Dalton, and he will be back here next week. But SMU at Duke at 8 o'clock. Duke, they've had a good season. They were undefeated to start out, and they've lost and lost. But I think that Malik Murphy and them could beat SMU, but it's a very slim chance. I think SMU is way too well coached. Their offense they're basically Duke's offense, but better. Their quarterback, but better. Everything, they're just a little better in all facets of the game, other than Duke. But I mean, they're going to be on the road, so we'll see. SMU's going to, I think, win this game, but I don't really have a surefire pick on it. I'd have to kind of do some deeper digging. They've been very good all season. They might win their conference. They could sneak in. I've been saying this for the past couple weeks. SMU might win the conference. They might win the ACC. I think that'd be a good look for them if Clemson can't get it done. So to move on from that, we got Cincinnati and Colorado. Shadur Sanders, big Shadur fan. Got my Shadur jersey on. Shout out Shadur, man. I think if they just didn't lose that game against Kansas State, they'd be shoe in for the playoff, I think, right now, honestly. And they're still trying to get in and win their Big 12. First year in the Big 12 against Cincinnati. Cincinnati also their first year in the Big 12. Cincinnati's pretty close to me, so I was up there. My buddy was in the TBT basketball tournament. They had a regional there, and I was walking around campus, and I was seeing they was doing all this construction going on. I was like, oh, that's Big 12 construction. They're getting ready for the Big 12. So they're here. They got all that new funding and new money for being in the Big 12, all those media TV dollars they get. And they're spending it well. They're expanding already. So shout out to them. They're trying to, take their new reins and new chapter serious. So shout out to them. We'll see what's going to happen. Coach Satterfield is the coach for Cincinnati, former coach of University of Louisville. I don't know. They've actually surprised a lot of people this year on how much they can score and how much they can prevent the other team from scoring. So that's going to be a heck of a game as well. It's going to be a late night tip off there. 10:30 as well, though. We're going to go with our last game of the night. It's not the last game. It is Boise State and UNLV. This is going to be a great game. UNLV's, started off hot. They had the drama with their quarterback leaving, asking for more money, and then they're able to roll with the new quarterback. So I don't know, man. I think Ashton Jeanty is going to probably just run all over this team. Heisman favorite right now of a lot of people. Heisman hopeful. We'll get into that as well. We got our new Heisman list that just dropped. If you've seen us on Instagram and on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, we got our new Heisman list out. So very excited to go over that. But let's go over this top 25 as we round out our pick six, the 6 top teams there and 6 top games. Speaking of the 6 top teams, we got Miami still in there kicking. I think they might replace Penn State. Man, after last week, Cam Ward was our MVP last week. He had a heck of a game against Louisville and was very excited to see that. I think a couple of these are going to shake up this week. Every week we say that, and they change a little bit. But this week, I actually do think we're going to see some teams fall. And even if they don't lose, I think we're going to see a couple of teams win, but maybe fall because the team behind them just played better. So we'll see here. I think Oregon holding that number 1 spot. They might hold it on for the rest of the regular season. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised. Ohio State is still kicking. I think everyone's already written them off prematurely. I don't blame them because they just haven't got big games done. They just don't win big games. They still lose to Michigan, unfortunately. So we'll see. I think Ohio State is still in the running. I don't think they are. After what I've seen last week, I just think up between the ears and up top mentally, they just get defeated too easily. They tried to come back, and they made it a 15-point game after going down 23-0. But they just couldn't get it done last week. And we'll see what they do. I think Dabo Swinney's got Clemson rolling right now. Everybody's sleeping on them, and Iowa State right behind them. Nobody's talking about Iowa State. I said it, and we're not talking about Iowa State enough. Nobody's talking about Iowa State enough. I think everyone needs to start talking about them, and maybe after this week we will. They are still undefeated. So speaking of undefeated, we have our undefeated teams that are left and still standing as of right now. We got Penn State, Navy, Army, Pitt, Oregon, IU, BYU, Miami, and Iowa State. Well, I don't know who's going to lose first. Me and Dalton, we both picked BYU to lose first. They did it. They've had some crazy wins this year. They had a game winner. Indiana is rolling, probably the hottest team in the nation right now. If you ask me, a lot of people think Oregon, but I honestly think the Indiana Hoosiers are the hottest team in the nation right now. Cam Ward of Miami is not too far off, but they haven't had any crazy blowout wins. They didn't have what Indiana did last week to Nebraska, 56-7. They don't have a win like that. Could they get one? Maybe. We'll see. But I don't know. Cam Ward is still trying to put his team on the back to that Heisman, though. I think he's going to be a better prospect than people think and what even I've thought. So shout out to him. And Army and Navy. With Navy, they're trying to keep it going, especially with Army. Both of their coaches are in the running for Coach of the Year. We'll go over that in just a second as well. But here are the undefeated teams as of right now that are still standing, and this will change soon. Not all of them are going to stay undefeated. So we will see. As of last night, we did have some games going on. If you were able to catch the Middle Tennessee State and Jackson State, that was not crazy. Jacksonville State able to win 42-20. But the game we want to talk about, Kennesaw State versus Liberty. Liberty was undefeated coming in, but not no more. Their playoff hopes are gone. They lost to Kennesaw State, which got their first win as being an FBS D1 program. Very excited. Congratulations to them. We got some highlights here. Now, Liberty obviously has a great quarterback that's going to be in the league, Salter. He threw a great pass here for the first touchdown of the game. He had some good throws, but they just weren't able to put enough points up to keep them gone, to keep them at arm's length. Now, when you're not a crazy great team, when you're not putting up 40, say you only put up 21 points a game, that's great. But any given night, another team can put up 21, because it's only 3 scores. You have a special team score. You have some penalties that cost the offense to get down the field quicker than they should. And this stuff like this happens. Kennesaw State, from what I was able to see, just ran the ball more. They got a passing touchdown right here, but you're going to see the rest of these highlights. They're able to just be smash mouth football, and Liberty they didn't fit up. It's what they call it. They didn't wrap up, and they just kind of I think they just assumed they were going to get the win no matter what, and they didn't show up. And when you don't show up, any team can beat you, especially with transfer portal. So Kennesaw State, first year in D1, shout out to them getting their first win. They were 0-6 coming into the game, not no more. They were able to get the win and look like maybe a new team here. So maybe they were able to turn over a new page, turn a new leaf, and get some more wins to finish out their first season in FBS. So if you look at their coach right there, Liberty's not looking too happy. I think he kind of seen in the back of his mind, his defense just, I don't know, just didn't bring it there. So they went up 14-7 on Liberty, and Liberty still was fighting. Look at Salter. Look at this pass that he's about to throw right here. Good little back shoulder, end zone, bam, he hits it. That's a future pro right there, quarterback. But if you got one pro, you still need some teammates to make plays as well. He didn't play a perfect game. So he's going to have a good career, I think, in the pros. I think he's a lot better than Fafita, the quarterback at Arizona, who I think he's comparable to. I think he's a lot better. But we'll see him in the pros, definitely. Salter will. And I'm excited to see what he does at the Combine, if we'll be able to get a chance to go to the Combine again like we did last year. But, yeah, Kennesaw State, man, like I said, just running it up the middle, fearless football. When they were winning up front, offensive line getting it done. And when you can do that, when you can run the ball, it can be a long night for any team. If you see that defensive end right there, he kind of just came through the hole, lackadaisical, didn't really come at full speed. You can see him right here, and he just throws a chip at that tight end, and he could have fought through that and maybe make the play, but it's just a lazy play by him right there. And lazy football, man, you can't be lazy, and then you get beat. So they went up 7, and then bam, they go up 10 just before you know it, and they never looked back there. 4 minutes left, and Kennesaw State able to get it done. And Liberty tried some backyard bullshit here. They tried it, but it didn't work. We're about to see that in a second. But yeah, man, Liberty was undefeated. So one team gets their first loss, one team gets their first win. That's college football. It's been a wild year. They tried here, but just couldn't get it done, man. That field goal, was the game winner. They were able to score that last touchdown, and then that field goal proved to be the game winner. And man, if you see that last play of them trying the backyard bullshit, it's what they call it. My actually high school team, when I was a freshman, we lost because of that. This team, our rival team, threw some Hail Marys and threw some laterals like that. He was down like 3 times against us, but it made ESPN top 10 when we lost back then. If you remember the ESPN top 10, how big that was back then, just to be on that. So I wish they did that. Wish that was as big as it was, but things change. So we'll move on from here. Some news we want to break here about Indiana Hoosiers. Like I said, the hottest team in the nation, in my opinion. They're going to be maybe without their quarterback this year. This week's looking like it. Their star quarterback this year, Curtis Rourke, he injured his thumb, so he is doubtful for the game this week. We will see. They're playing Washington. I think it's going to be a good game. Will they still be able to man it out and play for their quarterback and keep their hopes alive of being undefeated? I don't know. I think they're still going to be in the playoffs no matter what, so they could actually drop this game. game. But he's a good quarterback. He's among the nation's best and just pretty efficient. Now, he doesn't pass for the most in the nation. He's not up there with passing yards, but it's really all about getting them wins, right? But we do want to shed a highlight on them quarterbacks that do get it done with the stats, as long as with the wins. Here are our passing leaders around the nation coming into this week. So we got Cam Ward lead the nation in passing. Chandler Morris out of North Texas. A lot of people sleep on him as well. I mean, I don't blame you. There's a lot of good football going around. Dalton was giving him some love last week as well. He definitely likes Morris a lot. So Jackson Dart, Ole Miss there at third in the nation at passing. Josh Hoover, TCU, unfamiliar name to a lot of people, but he's got a great receiving core, and they're a lot better than people think as well. I think next year they'll be a lot tougher. Shadur Sanders, Colorado, man, there he is, fifth in the nation passing. He's a great player. I think he's the best pro prospect in the draft as far as quarterbacks. I think Quinn Ewers has pretty much handed him the number one quarterback taken off the board in these past couple weeks, and I think it's well deserved. So shout out to these top passers around the nation, and then we'll get into our top rushers. So top rushers here, Ashton Jeanty up top. Everyone knows that he's up top, duh. But I mean, we have to shed light on the guy that's right behind him, not right behind him, but he's behind him, number 2 in the nation, Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. Still got 1,000 yards on the year, and they have a 2 running back system. They use 2 running backs, so 1,000 yards is pretty impressive for them. So shout out there, and we want to go into, like I said, our Heisman list that we just released today. These are our Heisman finalists. We'll go over them more Saturday morning on our game day preview. But as of right now, this is it right here. Dylan Gabriel, Cam Ward, Ashton Jeanty, and Travis Hunter. These is what we have right now for our list and our finalists. Well deserved for these 4. Will it be 3 finalists? Will one of these guys drop off or maybe get replaced? Will it still be 4? It's not always 4 every year, at the ceremony that are the true finalists. But right now, we think it's a 4-person race. And I'm very excited to see how it shakes out. We'll see. I mean, Colorado's got a big game this week, and I've made our top 6 for that, not only because of the Heisman implications, because it's just going to be a very good game. Both of these teams, like I said, first year in the conference in the Big 12, and they're looking to get a big win, both of them. So very excited for these 6 here. We will go over our picks and the rest of the nation's picks here on Saturday morning, but we just wanted to get this out here. Usually this is our short stream, just kind of set the table for the week, and then we will do a full slate, just full in-depth detail and do our picks. Maybe got a couple bets out there we'll put in. We'll see. Got to take a look at some spreads. They'll definitely take a couple half a point changes a few of these games, but like I said, very excited. So we got, before we let you go here and get ready to finish the rest of your week, I'm going to go over them one more time. We got Notre Dame and Navy at noon, Texas and Vandy at 4:15. 7:30, we got LSU, Texas A&M, SMU at Duke at 8 o'clock. Then we got some 10 o'clock games that are here going to be fun, probably rolling to early morning. We got Cincinnati and Colorado 10:15, and then Boise State, UNLV at 10:30. Very excited, like I said. It's going to be a jam-packed week. Hope everyone's had a good week. We will review these Monday after everything shakes out, see how our picks on Saturday morning went, and Dalton will be able to join us as well as he gets back in town. Everyone wish Dalton safe travels there. I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you in a couple of days. Home Squad Sports Week 9 preview. You all have a great one.